And there are a ton of major and minor crops, and then crops that may not grow here but might grow at your place, and vice versa. Everything in between. There's all kinds of stuff. And if you don't know, there's a high possibility that something is growing on your property that is edible. You know, like the Biden salva or the spiderwort, some people call Florida asparagus, dewberries and blackberries here, grape leaves. How about some of your native blueberry relatives? And of course, never forget your greenbrier or smilax. Black cherry. Yeah, you could have something edible. You can have something that you may make tea with. You might have medicinal stuff. You may have mosquito repellents, insect repellents, all kinds of stuff. These goldenrods here, you could make a tea with them, even without the flower. One of the most hated plants on the planet, the dandelion. I mean, so many uses. Animals love it. People love it. You know, people up north, you know, the dandelion greens are in grocery stores. They're kind of bitter. Make teas with it. You can use the root to make like a coffee substitute with it. They have all kinds of health benefits. I think they even make like a dandelion honey. If I could replace every sprig of grass on my property with this, I would have no complaints. Anyway, I'll step back into the conversation, you know, I had about the hawthorns, about pretty much giving up on them. And, you know, it feels like despite this long project to do paws, you know, native only to the northern part of the state, up north to like, you know, Ohio and places like that. You know, I've planted and grafted and bulk grafted ones and seedlings and not had a lot of luck. I hand pollinated my oldest Tennessee seedling last year, and none of the hand pollinated ones took, but some of them, the higher blooms, actually got pollinated on their own. That seems to be what's happening this year too. I see like 2 or 3, maybe more small fruits on it. It's gonna be hard to see, but right there is one of the larger of the fruits. And I think this guy still has a few flowers on it too. This guy has been pollinated off and on throughout the years, you know, got its own pollination, but the fruits are always small, even when they're, you know, at the time of ripeness. They've never gotten big. Taste closer to an avocado than anything else. They don't taste like pineapple, mango, banana, or anything that they're associated with, you know, when you look them up. There are, of course, pawpaws growing in North Florida, you know, probably like Tallahassee and, you know, just the panhandle area. And it's possible that Native Americans took plants from further north and just spread them and planted them throughout the years, you know, many years ago. And they stopped at that area, possibly because they didn't really do well below the panhandle. So if you think you can just go to Georgia or get the panhandle and get seedlings from there and bring it here, thinking, well, that's such a similar climate, it's so close that it'll work, it just may not work. Like, you know, I have the mango cultivar, which is a Georgia cultivar. It produces sometimes 1 or 2 blooms a year, sometimes none. It doesn't, it's not happy here. So possibly that mango and all the other things that are in the panhandle area in southern Georgia, maybe Tennessee mountains, are from way further north than that. You know, they were just spread, and they're not acclimated for our area. So what's the possible solution to get better production? It could be doing what that guy in San Mateo did, when all of the, you know, professors of, you know, agriculture were saying it's just not possible to grow them in Gainesville and St. Augustine and Palatka and all of those areas. instead of going to Georgia or Tennessee and getting his materials there, he went to a similar climate, you know, out west in Louisiana, and he got Louisiana seedlings, and he ended up producing, you know, several cultivars. But those cultivars may be lost, you know, he's dead. It's, if there are his cultivars surviving, they're probably, you know, I don't know, maybe they're forming root suckers all over the place and alive, but nobody knows where to get them, and they could be destroyed with, you know, development. So, you know, maybe the better method of trying to produce something here and to produce better cultivars is to go to Louisiana and get seedlings. I mean, I haven't really seen any nurseries selling, you know, Louisiana seedlings. They're always like Tennessee, Georgia, you know, Ohio, maybe Kentucky. But, you know, as I said, I've been kind of working with paws for like 25 years, trying to get them to establish, having so much difficulties with certain, you know, the suppliers. We get stuff that just will not survive. Finding a few suppliers that I've lost over the years, but, you know, the Tennessee seedlings that, like the one you just seen, we have 2 or 3 of them, and that was the biggest one. But I think I've spent, you know, so many years doing this that, you know, it's not going to be a major project to me anymore. It's just the paw project is either going to come into fruition mostly on its own, and if I get 1 or 2, you know, scion grafts every year to just graft onto what I have, and if one of those becomes successful and productive, you know, that would be nice, you know. But for the most part, I'm done. It's somebody else probably needs to go out west and look for, you know, paw materials to bring to Florida, south of the panhandle. Certain people have been experimenting with breeding the more native, you know, the native to the south of the panhandle paws with the northern tropical paws, the Semina tribola, and from what I hear, the fruit quality is terrible. But again, you're just like apples or anything, you may have to do thousands of them and experiment to see what's palatable, edible, good, that someone besides wildlife, you know, something besides wildlife will eat. Alright, I'm sure this video is getting long and you're probably bored and tired of hearing me talk. Maybe in the next video we'll plan out that other autumn olive. So, you know, here's the thing. People say these autumn olives that you get are self-pollinating, and I've said it multiple times. I've had them go through multiple bloom cycles throughout the years. Not one berry was ever produced. So I think people may be wrong that they're self-pollinating, that, you know, up north you're just so close to some other type of autumn olive, or if there's a compatible Elaeagnus or something that is, you know, somewhere in the woods, some neighbor's yard, pollinating your single plant that you have in your yard. So we got a different cultivar we're going to plant with it, and it could still be years before, you know, it blooms. I don't know if it survives. We've had a few we planted out, just like paws. Not all of them survive, but just wish us luck, and let's see if we get some pollination in a few years, and hopefully we still got a garden vlog going, you know, 4, 5, 10 years from now. But if not, hopefully we can at least have our, you know, our experiments with our aged wood chip alternative raised beds, you know, complete, you know, get at least 3 to 4, 5 seasons maybe, so you guys will have a definitive answer, you know, if you want to try to do this yourself. All right, take care, guys.